we're in Kyoto, climbing up the 10,000 gates. It was raining. We were at the end of the rainy season. On the way down, I slipped. I didn't fall that far, but I fractured my ankle in 3 places and dislocated it. So I had to get emergency rescue down the mountain.
All right, so you're injured. They're doing this, and they're like, okay, here, book a flight home, and you're not going to do this. And what did you do? Welcome to Lawyers Who Learn. Jennifer, I'm super excited to learn about your growth journey. We're at PLI now in DC. Thank you for spending a few moments with us.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for asking me.
Before we get into your learning growth journey, you are the Senior Manager of Learning and Development at White & Case.
Yes.
So if you could just give me a 30-second overview. We're going to get into momentum, but just a little bit about what your role involves.
So I lead our lawyer and business services professional training for the Americas region. So in charge of all the non-partner lawyer and business services training. And then I also lead our global coaching office.
Maybe this is a bad question, but America's region, is that South America and North America?
We have São Paulo, Mexico City, and then the U.S.
Do you travel a lot to there?
Yeah, although it's on my list to go to our Mexico City office. We don't have
about São Paulo.
We don't have a ton of associates there.
Okay.
But I get around to the U.S. and for some of our global initiatives, I've been going to our other.
Got it. So you started your career, and it started so loud, but you can hear me, right? I'll talk loud.
I got it. Yeah.
You started your career a little bit off the beaten path when it comes to federal courts in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that journey there and how you, a little bit how you grew there.
In that clerkship. So I really wanted a clerkship, and I was at NYU Law, and they were like, "Oh, apply to 200 judges." So I did, and I ended up with a ton of interviews, and this is a long story, but I did not get a single clerkship. So it was heartbreaking. And so I think a lot of it had to do, I was working with a professor and she was very well known. At the same time, she was not a great boss. So I think in retrospect, it wasn't the right time. My confidence was a little down, but I took a step back and said, I really want to clerk. I heard about a friend who got a clerkship in Puerto Rico, and I was like, this would be perfect. I speak Spanish. I want to clerk. I love to live on an island. So I applied. I did a very targeted application. Sat in my third year, maybe 10 judges. That was the first interview I got, and I got the job right away. So it was, yeah.
So this is Lawyers Who Learn. It's about your learning and growth journey.
Yes.
Can you tell us how long were you doing that, and what are some of the things you learned? You picked up, you moved to Puerto Rico. What personally and professionally, where's some of the growth during that time?
I mean, that's a good question.
It's been a while now.
I guess going into the clerkship, my learning really was wait for the right thing. It was really a perfect clerkship for me. I had a lot of autonomy with my judge. My judge was super, he just gave us clerks a lot of leeway. So I had just a terrific clerkship experience. I learned a lot about Puerto Rican law.
Was there specific, what did your judge do? What was the specific area?
Well, he was on senior status, so he didn't do criminal. He opted out of criminal.
Okay.
It was all civil cases, all federal court cases, and we had some obviously diversity jurisdiction cases where we'd have to rely on Puerto Rico law, which was interesting because that was all in Spanish. Federal courts are all in English. So that was a super interesting part of my experience in that I was what?
No,
So my judge actually did a lot in Spanish in chambers, in his own chambers. Open court stuff had to be in English, but in chambers, it was all in Spanish, and I'd have to understand it and write in English.
And you said you're fluent in Spanish then?
It was pretty good at Spanish.
So that was a challenge too, a little bit, I'm sure.
It really was. Yeah, I had studied a lot of Spanish. I lived in Ecuador, so I was like, I can do this. He actually...
In Quito? Where did you live? What? Yeah?
Yeah.
Why were you there?
I did a summer Spanish program in college, and then I went back and taught English.
Awesome.
Yeah.
One thing I love about this story is, if I remember correctly, when you got married, the federal judge in Puerto Rico is the one who married you.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really a cool place to be a clerk because all the clerks really bonded because we were all shooting situation. There were many from Puerto Rico, but a lot from the U.S. And we just all really developed a love for Puerto Rico. We were very close. We were very close with our judges. And then when I got married a few years later, we came back and he married us in this beautiful new courthouse on the water.
That's unbelievable and worth the price of admission and everything that you were trying to do. And then you went to Mayor Brown in litigation, or
I was litigation.
Yeah. And then from there, you said at the 7th year of the firm, you were engaged in firm welfare. Can you tell us about, and that sounds like the transition point to where you are today.
Yeah, so we used to call it firm welfare. I don't think firms call it that anymore, but like all the extra stuff, like I was on the recruiting committee. I had started our women's initiatives and with other lawyers, and I was just doing a lot of that type of work. That was not my billable work. And really enjoyed it. And then we had a person at our firm, Lane Vanderslice, who he had a similar transition from being a practicing lawyer. At the time, he transitioned to what he called the Dean of Associates. And so he said, hey, I want to build out my team focusing on mid-levels. And are you interested? You seem to like doing this stuff. And or do you know of someone? I was like, oh, wow. Like it would have occurred to me. It wasn't. Now I feel like there's more paths like that. But at the time, it was pretty unique.
And why do you think he tapped on you for that? Like, because that's a big, when he asked you to do that, were you actually switching from being a law, or were you adding it onto your job as a law?
It was the pivot point.
Was there a big, I don't know, or was like, oh my God, I'm ready?
No, it was more like, I don't know. Kid number one, I have 2 kids. I had kid number 1, and I was like, oh, interesting. I really like this stuff. And so what Lane had me do was write a job description, which took a while. I did my research. He had me, once he knew I was interested, he had me interview with the managing partner of the firm. I had to give my business case.
Yeah.
And so during that process, I became really, this is what I want to do. So
that's awesome. It's just, and it's such a common thing. I've had 85 interviews so far. Almost anyone who's come from legal to PD has had that pivot moment where they realize they love the law, but they're more drawn to professional development and growth. You got a certification in coaching during this period or after?
So I started in the law and quickly realized, I'm like, oh, I need some training. And it was early days. There were not a lot of firms that were doing coaching yet. And so I asked around, okay, what can I do to get trained? And there were a couple of programs like Georgetown, Hudson, which is what I did. I can't remember the other one, but I looked into all of them. The Hudson program was in Santa Barbara, California.
Yeah.
So you see a theme. I like to go to nice places.
I don't blame you.
But it was a really respected, it was all in person then, and it was a virtual. So I decided my firm supported me in that. I went to get that certification, and really I was one of the first internal capital C coaches in a law firm.
What was the last line you said? The first what?
Like capital C coach.
Oh, like official coach, not just like coach. Yeah.
Like I'm coaching. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like I got my certification, my ICF certification. Yeah.
And you had to get your hours, which take a long time.
Yeah.
In the certification.
Yeah. I had to get my hours. I eventually got my PCC. But
so now you're Whiting case.
Yes.
You're speaking tomorrow about a program you have called Momentum.
Yes.
Can you give us a little inside scoop of what's going on?
It's not coaching. So my role, every case is broader. And so this is our really marquee learning and development training program. It's long story short, our firm, as part of its strategy, really wanted to focus on the associate experience. And so they created a partner-led committee that ultimately partnered with our team, learning and development, to essentially rehaul our entire training curriculum. So it's the key distinction with Momentum to what we used to.
You do your what for training?
Sorry.
I said you do your own training. I didn't hear the last word you said.
Okay. So we partnered with the lawyers to develop the training. So the distinction being in a lot of our other training programs and what other firms do, you're hiring an
You outsource.
external or you're doing it internally with your learning and development. What we did was literally sit side by side with our partners, with our senior associates, with an external consultancy, with our L&D team, and literally created the training ourselves. The lawyers were really involved in the whole process. Their faculty, we don't have any external faculty.
And what is momentum? Is it a 3-day every year? Good. It's energy, but like, is it online? Is it once in a while?
Ultimately, it will be our learning journey. So from day one till the end, what we've focused on in this first phase is really reinvigorating our live training. So we're focusing on third years and fifth years. So the Momentum live experience it's a 3-day program at an offsite location.
So that's an investment, right?
It's a big investment, yeah.
How many associates would go to it?
So we ran it as a pilot once in the Americas, once in EMEA for both programs. So we've about maybe 350 lawyers.
350 lawyers off-site, 3 days.
Yes. 4 different programs, but yes.
I mean, $1 million? I don't know. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So that's it's a big investment. You're not just doing window dressing. You really want them to learn.
Let alone the partner time. Like we have our faculty.
Right, and the lost filling time. And so the faculty are all internal too.
They're all internal. They're all our partners, senior associates, L&D as well are supporting them.
And how many tracks are there during this? And is it all one session or is there a lot of tracks going on simultaneously?
So we have a 3rd-year program and a 5th-year program. Currently, it's all one.
I like that, yeah.
But we really took the pilot part to heart. So we had a bunch of us were on site analyzing, thinking what we wanted to change, what went well, what didn't. We had like real-time feedback where we would have them scan a QR code and give us feedback, and we would sometimes even just change in the moment.
How much of it is about the white in case way, and how much of it is like 101 stuff that wherever you are?
I know what our partners would say. Our partner committee members is all the white in case way, and that's what makes it better.
Yeah.
It's from our lawyers to our lawyers. It's communication 101, but from the perspective of lawyers who have been in the trenches.
Is there a lot of case studies from clients that they have and things that are going on?
Yeah, we do like a bunch of different modalities. We do have some case studies in different parts of the program. We've got like a really great matter management session that
Do you have
case studies.
I have so many questions. Dude, do you have any of the associates who are the 3rd to 5 years who are like teach their own, here's how I've done this. So it's like their peers are teaching them.
That's a really excellent question. And it's actually what we aspire to do is like those 3rd years are going to be the 5th years teaching.
Well, because why? Teaching is the best form of learning.
Right.
So if you can get more and more of them to be doing some sort of training, it's going to be like that area.
It's really, we want to create that apprenticeship culture, which we heard in the plenary, the apprenticeship is dead, but we're really trying to recreate it in this different way.
Another thought, if you're not doing already, is creating cohorts, small groups of 8 to 10.
Yes.
That they can live beyond.
Going.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
Definitely part 2. We haven't implemented it yet. I will give you credit for it, but it's exactly what we want to do.
Yeah. When's the next one happening?
So we literally just finished. We had 3 programs in the last month and a half. And so now we're just assessing, integrating all the feedback. And then we're looking, we'll run the live programs again next year. Another key feature is everyone only gets 1 shot to go. What we had with our prior curriculum, our prior programs is people would be busy and they wouldn't go and they go to the next one. We're saying, no, this is your shot. We want a cohort experience.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And so that group that just went through it, ideally they will be doing those cohorts.
I can imagine tomorrow you're going to get this question.
Yes.
I love what you're doing. I can never get the budget to approve for that. How did you do that?
That is an excellent question. It really, the impetus for this came from the top. So we had done an engagement survey, and part of our firm's, at the highest level strategy was, part of it was about the associate experience. So it was all very much tied to that. And we had very strong support from partners on the committee who were willing to go to our executive committee, to our COO and say, we need funding for this. This is what our attorneys want. This is what we need to do. So it really was that support top down and very dedicated partners along the way.
I'm sure there's a review to make sure they want to spend it again next year and go through all that.
I think we got the go ahead. We also have
Congrats.
We have a great chief.
They have a great name to start. So.
Thank you. Yeah. Our chief engagement and development officer, Hedia Fakhriazi, is also she does a really great job at like strategically moving us forward.
Awesome. Let's dive into some personal.
Okay.
You shared with me a little bit. You took a family trip to Japan.
Yes, I did.
And what happened?
What happened? So it was a little over a 2-week trip with my graduating senior, who is a freshman now in college. Big trip, milestone trip with my husband. It's like 3-4 days in. We're in Kyoto, climbing up the 10,000 gates. It was raining. We were at the end of the rainy season. On the way down, I slipped. I didn't fall that far, but I fractured my ankle in 3 places and dislocated it. So I had to get like emergency rescue down the mountain, ambulance.
Do you have travel insurance?
I did.
Did they pay?
They paid. Yes.
Which company? Because I'm
Faye, Faye.
Somebody just recommended them to me.
Yeah, it was fairly straightforward.
Okay, it's good to know.
Yeah.
Use Faye. I signed up recently for AXA, but I have 15 days to refund.
It was like,
okay, good to
just
know.
had to upload everything. They didn't pay for, I'm like, would you pay for the taxis we had to take? They're like, no, but they paid for all the healthcare. Yeah.
This is a commercial for Faye just now. But, all right, so you're injured. They're doing this, and they're like, okay, here, book a flight home, and you're not going to do this. And what did you do?
Going home.
And why?
I really, honestly, it didn't cross my mind because I'm like, this is my trip with my daughter. I can do this. The doctor literally is, we're going to go talk to your husband. They said that, and they did literally go talk to him. And he's, yeah, she's not going to leave. So I'm like, I'll be fine with crutches, which I was very much overly optimistic about. So I'd never done crutches before. I'm like, I'm good. I'll do crutches. I'm fine. Put me in the taxi cab. I did call. I'm from Chicago, so I called my Northwestern hospital doctor like right away and got an appointment for when I get back. They're like, "Oh, you're staying?" I'm staying. So then we had a very interesting.
But you stayed
trip.
because it was the last trip with your daughter.
Last trip with my daughter
before she went to college, and I love that. I just wanted to point that out. Like it's like the experiences that you have, they're fleeting, right? And so to do that, we did pay for it afterwards, though, because you were in a wheelchair for a while and whatever. But that's in the past.
Yeah.
I know I interrupted you, but it's okay to move to that. Yeah. I would love to talk to you all day, but the 2 things I would say, just looking at your notes here. Wait, was there anything else about that trip that you were going to say? I just want to make sure I did.
The only thing I want to add to the trip is I have a completely different perspective on people with disabilities. Now,
yes,
I do not have a permanent disability after that, but for about 2 months, I was effectively in a wheelchair. And it was mind blowing how challenging it was. And I had like people with me to support me. I had to take a work trip during that time to London, which I was like, I'm going to be fine. I was, again, very overly optimistic. Like literally my husband came with me. He'd push me into the office and then like my teammates would come and get me. And there's one working handicap bathroom in the whole office. It was just like such a mind-blowing experience about how challenging that is.
To relate to that, I had dislocated my back and I had a vertebrae in my back, and it lasted for about 1.5 years.
Oh,
I ended up getting cortisone shots, but I couldn't really walk that much. I couldn't do anything, and it was the first time I truly could realize what chronic pain was and debilitating pain. Yeah. And there's a moment while you're happening, is oh my God, this is never going to go away. Yeah. And so I realized I had such empathy for those who have it all the time and we take for granted. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
2 last things. One is, so let me just see the timing. Let's go to my favorite question, which is, for me, a $15 book is sometimes the best return of investment I get. And I love to hear books that helped you in your journey.
Yep.
Just in case you don't remember on the spot, I have them here that you already
I
shared.
remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, should I pick a third? But my first one was really very personal. It was a memoir, it's Nothing to Declare, a memoir of a woman traveling alone. So I read this. I had done a semester in Ecuador, but before I went to law school, it's like I really want to like explore the world. I did some travel with a friend, but I really wanted to do it by myself. And so this book was just super inspirational. It
Awesome.
really gave me the confidence. A friend of mine and I, 2 women, we did 3 months in Central America. Then I went to East Africa. And yeah, so it was just really a life-changing book for me and really has impacted the way I am today.
I have a book coming out about travel in February.
Oh, what's
It's called 11 Suitcases.
11 Suitcases. I will definitely be
We
reading.
picked up my family for 2 years and moved to Barcelona with 11 suitcases. So it was a whole travel conversation. I'll make sure to share that with you.
Yeah.
And you had, I think, one more?
Oh, yeah. One is more of a professional book. It's called Essentialism. I don't remember the author off the top of my head. Greg McCowan. It just is. It's a really powerful book about, like, the thing that stays with me to this day. I read this during my coach training is if you're asked to do something and it is not a clear yes, it's a no. So I don't always do that, but I always think that. Like, I was recently asked to be on a committee, which it was not a clear yes, and I still did it for different reasons, but it really...
How do you know if it's a clear yes? What's the sign?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. You're not hesitating. You're like, so there are not that many...
Do you want to
that
be
are
on the
clear
Lawyers Who
yeses.
Learn podcast? That was a clear yes.
Clear yes.
Why not?
It was.
20 minutes. I could do it. Awesome. I love that. Thank you for your time, Jennifer. This has been awesome. And I'm looking forward. I'm hopeful we can continue our conversations.
Yes, definitely.
I know you don't have outside people momentum, but I would love to be a fly in the room to see that. Or it sounds like a great experience.
And I will look for your books.
Take care. All right.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you for watching.